They said that the ground has ears. They said that the soil remembers everything. When you walk on the earth, be careful. You never know who is listening from below. This story happened a long time ago in a village called Umu-Eze. Umu-Eze was a quiet place. It was surrounded by thick, dark forest. The people were farmers. They woke up early. They worked hard. They slept early. But Umu-Eze had a very bad shadow. There was a heaviness in the air. People did not laugh loudly there. They whispered. It was a village that held many secrets. Our story is about a man named Obinna. Obinna was a poor man. He was not a chief. He was not a warrior. He was just a farmer. He had a small piece of land at the edge of the forest. The soil there was hard. The weeds were stubborn. Every day, Obinna fought the earth to make things grow. He lived alone in a small hut. His wife had left him years ago because he was too poor. He had no children. His only friend were the birds and the winds. But Obinna was honest. He would never steal, he never lied. He just wanted to grow his yam and live in peace. He did not know that his peace is about to end. He did not know that his small farm held the biggest secret in the history of the village. The years this happened, the rain refused to fall. The sky was blue and empty. The sun was like a fire in the sky. It burned the leaf. It dried every river. In the village market, people complained. The gods are angry. One woman said, "You must offer sacrifices." Another one said, but the chief of the village, Chief Dike, said nothing. Chief Dike was a rich man. He was big and tall. He had 3 wives and many barns full of food. While others were hungry, Chief Dike was eating very well. Obinna worried. If his yam did not grow, he would starve. He went to his farm every morning while it was still dark. He carried his old rusty hoe on his shoulder. Clank, clank, clank. That was the sound of his hoe hitting the dry ground. He talked to himself to stay awake. "Please, earth," he would say, "give me food. Do not let me die of hunger." One particular morning, the air was strange. It was cool, even though the sun was coming up. The birds were not singing. The forest was completely silent. Obinna felt a shiver go down his back. He felt like someone was watching him. He looked at the tree. "Who is there?" he asked. No one answered, just the wind shaking the dry leaves. Obinna shook his head. "I'm just tired," he thought. "Hunger is making me to imagine things." He walked to the far end of his farm. This was a spot near the great Iroko tree. He usually did not farm there. The bushes were too thick because of the drought. He needed to try every piece of land he had. He cleared the weed. He raised his hoe. He stalked the ground. The sound was different. It did not sound like dirt. It sounded hollow. Obinna stopped. He looked at the ground. There was a small mound of earth there. It looked like a yam, but much bigger. Maybe, Obinna thought, maybe I am lucky. Maybe a wild yam has grown here. Wild yam can be very big. If he found a giant wild yam, he could eat it for a week. He could even sell some at the market. Hope filled his heart. He began to dig carefully. He used his hand to move the soil. The soil here was not dry. It was wet. It was dark red. It smelled strange. It smelled like old iron. He dug deeper. He saw the top of the yam. It was huge. It was hairy. It had strange bumps on it. "This is a monster yam," Obinna whispered. He dug around the side. He dug and dug. The sun rose higher. Sweat poured into his eyes, but he did not stop. He felt a connection to this yam. He felt he had to pull it out. Finally, the yam was loose. Obinna grabbed the top. He planted his feet, he pulled. It was heavy, heavier than a bag of stones. He pulled again. With a loud popping sound, the yam came free. Obinna fell backward onto the grass. The giant yam rolled next to him. He lay there, catching his breath. He looked at his prize. It was ugly. It was twisted. It looked like an old man's face. The bumps looked like eyes and a nose. Obinna laughed. "You are an ugly yam," he said, "but you will taste good in my soup." He stood up and dusted himself off. He bent down to pick up the yam. As his hand touched the rough side of the yam, the ground beneath him shook, just like a little. Obinna froze. Is it an earthquake? He waited. Nothing happened. "I'm going crazy," he said. "I need food." He picked up the yam. He put it in his basket. The basket was heavy on his head. He walked back to his hut. But as he walked, he heard a sound coming from the basket. It was a low sound, like a hum. Obinna stopped. He took the basket down. He looked inside the yam. The yam was sitting there silently. "I really need to sleep," Obinna said. He walked home fast. He did not look back. Evening came. The sun went down, and the village became quiet and dark. Obinna lit his small oil lamp. The light flickered on the mud walls. He placed the giant yam on his table. He sharpened his knife. He was hungry. His stomach was crying for food. "Thank you, God, for this meal," Obinna prayed. He raised the knife to cut the yam. He aimed for the middle. He brought the knife down. "Stop!" The voice was loud. It filled the small room. It sounded like rocks grinding together. Obinna froze. The knife was an inch from the yam. He looked around. "Who is there?" he cried. "Come out. I have a knife." There was no one. The door was locked. The window was closed. "I am losing my mind," Obinna whispered. He raised the knife again. "I said, stop, you fool." Obinna dropped the knife. He jumped back against the wall. His heart was beating. Boom, boom, boom. He looked at the table. The yam moved. It did not roll. It turned. It stood up on its own. A crack appeared in the middle of the yam. The crack opened wide. It was a mouth. Two bumps above the mouth opened. They were eyes, dark, angry eyes. Obinna wanted to run, but his legs were like water. He could not move. He opened his mouth to scream, but no one came out. The yam looked at Obinna. "Why do you want to cut me?" The yam asked. His voice was calmer than before, but still deep and scary. Obinna fell to his knees. "Please, please, spirit, do not kill me. I'm a poor man." The yam laughed. It was a dry and dusty laugh. "I am not a spirit. Not exactly. I am the memory of this land, and you dug me up." Obinna was shaking. You are a yam. Yams do not talk. Yams are for eating." "I am not for eating," the yam said. "If you eat me, you will die. My flesh is bitter with drought." Obinna asked. "Drought?" "Yes," the yam said. "Sit up. Stop shaking. We have business to discuss. I have been waiting in the dark earth for 7 years, waiting for someone to find me." Obinna sat on his wooden stool. He stared at talking yam. The fear was slowly turning into curiosity. "What do you mean you have been waiting for?" Obinna asked. The yam shifted on the table. "Do you remember 7 years ago?" The yam asked. "Do you remember the name? Okoro?" Obinna nodded slowly. Everyone remembered Okoro. Okoro was the brother of Chief Dike. Okoro was a good man. He was kind. He wanted to build a school for the village. He wanted to share his wealth. But 7 years ago, Okoro vanished. People said he went to the city. People said he traveled across the sea. He never came back. I remembered Okoro. Obinna said, he was a good man. He was, said the yam, and he did not go to city. He did not go across the sea. The room went cold. Where did he go? Obinna whispered. He went nowhere. The yam said, he is in your farm, under the spot where you found me. Obinna gasped. He covered his mouth with his hands. The yam continued. Okoro and his brother Chief Dike had a fight about a land, a fight about money. Chief Dike was greedy. He wanted all the power. Okoro wanted to help the poor people. The yam's voice became very low. Chief Dike met Okoro at the edge of the forest. He struck him down. He killed his own brother. Obinna's eyes were wide with horror. To kill a kinsman was the greatest abomination. It cursed the land. Chief Dike buried him deep in the earth, said the yam, on the land that nobody used, your land. He thought that the secret was safe, but blood fills the soil, and the soil grows things. The yam leaned forward. I grew from the heart of Okoro. I carry his voice. I carry his anger. And now, I carry his demand for justice. Obinna stood up. He was pacing the room. This is too big for me, he said. I am a nobody. Chief Dike is powerful. If I tell anyone, he will kill me too. You have no choice, said the yam. The land is cursed because of his crime. That is why the rain does not fall. That is why the crops die. Unless the truth is told, the whole village will die. The next morning, Obinna made a choice. He was terrified, but he knew he could not live with this secret. He wrapped the yam in a white cloth. He carried it to the village square. It was market day. The square was full of people. Chief Dike was there. He sat on his high chair, wearing his red cap and holding his fan. He looked happy and powerful. Obinna walked to the center of the market square. People of Umu-Eze, he shouted. The crowd went quiet. They looked at the poor farmer. Obinna, someone laughed. Are you selling your rags? I have something to say, Obinna yelled. His voice shook, but he stood tall. I know why the rain refuses to fall. I know why we are suffering. Chief Dike stopped fanning himself. He looked at Obinna with cold eyes. Go home, madman, the chief said. Do not disturb the peace. I have a witness, Obinna said. He placed the wrapped object on the ground. A witness? The chief laughed. What is it? A stone? Obinna pulled the cloth away. The crowd saw the giant ugly yam. Some people laughed. He brought a yam to testify, but Chief Dike did not laugh. He saw the shape of the yam. He saw the face on the yam. His hands began to tremble. This yam was found on my farm, Obinna said, in the place where Okoro was buried. The crowd gasped. The name of the missing brother hung in the air. Lies, Chief Dike said. He stood up. Guards, seize him. He is accusing the chief. Two big guards ran towards Obinna. Obinna closed his eyes. Speak now, please, he whispered to the yam. The guards held Obinna. Then a sound came. Leave him alone. The voice did not come from Obinna. It came from the ground. It came from the yam. The guards dropped their spears. They ran away, screaming. The yam is speaking. The yam is speaking. The crowd pulled back, terrified. The yam spoke again. His voice was loud, becoming louder, booming across the square. Dike, my brother, do you not recognize me? Chief Dike fell back into his chair. He was pale. He was sweating. Is this a trick? He screamed. Magic, witchcraft. Is it true? The yam said, 7 years ago, the dark moon, the shape machete, you buried me to take the throne. Tell them, confess. The chief tried to run, but his leg failed him. He fell into the dust. He was crying. The guilt he had hidden for 7 years broke him. I am sorry, he wailed. I did it. I wanted the power. I am sorry, Okoro. The village was silent. The truth was out. The dark secret was revealed. The elders of the village took Chief Dike away. He would face the judgment of the laws of the land. He lost his title, his wealth, and his honor. Obinna stood alone in the square with the yam. The people looked at him with respect. The poor farmer had saved them. Then the sky changed. Dark clouds rolled in. Thunder clapped. For the first time in a year, a drop of water fell. Then the rain came down in sheets. It washed the dust away. It washed the heat away. It washed the curse away. The people danced in the rain. They drank the water. They cried with joy. Obinna picked up the yam. Thank you, Obinna said. The yam did not speak. The eyes closed. The mouth closed. It was just a normal yam again. His job was done. The spirit of Okoro was finally at rest. Obinna did not eat the yam. He buried it again with respect in a proper grave. He planted flowers on top. From that day on, Obinna was not poor. The village rewarded him, but he remained a simple man. He still farmed his land. He still lived in his hut. But every time he dug the earth, he whispered, I asked for permission because he knew. And now you know too. The earth has ears. The soil holds secrets. If you listen closely, even a yam can tell a story. This is where my story ends. Take the wisdom, throw away the foolishness. Good night. Please like, share, and subscribe. Drop your comments. Bye.